Hello, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and I don't want to just say Google search is dead, but I think Google is going right out, fucking flying right into destroying the actual key product that I think people use them, right? So I don't understand people that use Google search, to be honest with you. I get it. Sometimes it's a default, but generally speaking, there are a lot of Google alternatives. There's a lot of search alternatives out there. You know, going into your common browser, it's always right here in these search engines that you can just pick any one that you want, okay? So you can go to DuckDuckGo, Quant, Start Page, Ecosia, Bing, and there's still a litany more. Now, again, for me, one of the things that I do is I actually just use my own local hosted search engine. I've shown you how to do this in the past. Going to localhost 8888, running locally on my computer, I can just go to a local search engine and search for Google search alternatives. And immediately I'm given actual search alternatives, useful articles, and you see the best part about it? No motherfucking ads, okay? That's no AI overviews, none of that slop thrown at me. Within a second, I was able to actually get good, clean results without using the Google land. So, you know, we're in this world where, look, artificial intelligence, all these big tech companies are fucking up their products and shitifying. You know, 5-10 years ago, you know, if you told me 10 years ago, for instance, why would you use Linux today? I'd be like, yeah, why am I using Linux? You know, everything works great in Windows. Windows isn't completely dog shit yet. It's not like they're stuffing it with AI crap and bloating the fuck out of the system. But now Linux is so good that, you know, downloading something like CachyOS and playing a video game on there, you know, having a much less bloated experience on your system, you know, it's so easy to do. It literally is as easy to install that as it is like Microsoft Windows, okay? And generally speaking, I feel like the open source community, pretty goddamn good. Pretty great for the most part. But anyways, to go back to this, ladies and gentlemen, why are we talking about Google search dying today? Well, there is a new era for AI searching, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it turns out the search engine that Google is basically reliant on for, I think, a lot of their income, right? Like, I think it was somewhere that Google accounts for somewhere around 75% of like their actual income, like their actual revenue comes from search, which obviously is loaded with sponsored results, advertisements, so on and so forth. Well, it turns out that Google decides that this is the best time to just slap in that AI search trend, boys. Fucking end me is what I'm gonna say. So to give you an idea, how does AI search currently work? So for instance, if I'm like a gamer, right? Let's say that I'm playing a game like System Shock 2. Oh shit, there's a code I need to enter now. My brain could play the game and immerse myself and figure out the code myself. But let's be honest, if I'm being lazy that day, I'm gonna look up System Shock 2 codes on the internet. Now Google search will give me, obviously, a website that has all those codes available, a Steam community post, but sometimes it'll slap an AI overview, and that AI overview, boy oh boy, is taking up a lot of space. And of course, ultimately here you can see that all it's doing is it's pulling this information from, you know, websites like TTLG, which if you open that page up, you can see, it pulled up information all the way back from 2007. Now, of course, sometimes it pulls up from the Wikipedia, sometimes it pulls up from a fan website, and you can imagine, listen, when you're pulling from a fan website or you're pulling from another smaller website, these guys typically rely on, you know, advertisements or actual traffic to come near them. What Google is doing is straight up ripping their information, putting it on their own platform, basically stifling those people out of the traffic and the revenue they need. So if Google is pulling that out of actual human creators that they're relying on to give you these fucking AI results, you can imagine that over time, the more they kill the internet, the more they actually end up killing themselves, of course, digitally speaking here. So it's not a good situation to go down. And of course, ultimately, there's also things like, if you look up best Linux distro, the first thing you're gonna get is a fucking AI overview. You know, Google is gonna tell you, hey, listen, here's the best Linux distribution you can download. Linux Mint, Zorin OS, Ubuntu, which I don't know if you want to get Ubuntu, given the fact that they're stuffing AI against your will, but you can see that instead of Google's intelligence making this up, they actually relied on a Reddit post from r/Linux Questions. Now, how old is this post, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's about a year old. So you can see that at best, Google's AI in search has basically become look up your favorite Reddit answer. Which, before the age of AI, it usually was you would just type in Reddit at the end of something just to get like a human response out of it. But this is the internet, right? This is the future. So Google has decided that, listen, this seems like a great idea. Let's go deeper into it. Let's fuck things up even more. So the goal of search has always been simple, to help you ask anything on your mind, from quick facts to the deep and complex hyper-specific questions, okay? So that's great. So they basically say that AI mode has surpassed 1 billion monthly users. So clearly people are using this. Like, a lot of people are like, I would never fuck with AI slop. But then apparently, according to these companies, bro, they got 1 billion monthly users. 1 billion people are jumping into Google's AI mode, okay? I've never fucking used it, but apparently 1 billion monthly users have, which is insanity to me. But anyways, right over here, they say that basically what they're doing is right in the search bar, they're basically upgrading it and stuffing it with their Gemini Flash model, which is basically the fastest Google model they have, something that inferences really quick. So when you, for instance, according to Google, want to look up this, situation like available classes near me on Tuesday nights for something like pottery, what Google is going to do is it's going to throw that into Gemini Flash, and it's going to basically look according to the actual search that you've given it. It's kind of hard to see some of these fucking videos, but to give you an idea, this is what Google wants to do. So you type in a prompt, and of course, ultimately, they're pushing you towards this AI overview shit. Now you can see even in their own video, they're pulling from things like Healthline, Prestige Health and Wellness, the AquaCare Physical Therapy. So they're pulling from other people's websites and basically stifling their traffic so that you see whatever the AI spits out. And sometimes this might not even be accurate information. They straight up always have to tell you, listen guys, this is for informational purposes only. Now, of course, ultimately what Google has also kind of pushed is something known as the search agents. So we're entering the era of search agents, where you can easily create, customize, and manage multiple AI agents for many tasks, right in search. I feel like this is such a... I'm going to show you what an AI search agent looks like, okay, before I fucking rip my hair off. So basically, what Google is doing, and I'm not going to use Google search engine because, again, I don't want to contribute to this AI sloppening of our fucking internet. Basically, go back to my SeerXNG setting. This is my local hosted system. Now, what I've done with SeerXNG is I've allowed it to report JSON files. Basically, it can report its search results so that an artificial intelligence model can also read what it's spitting out. So basically, the reason I've done this is that I can take a local model like Qwen 3.6 35B A3B, which is a faster model, faster than the dense local models, but this is something that's running locally on my computer. You can see that I've loaded it, I'm not connected to the internet, I'm not sending my information out there. So I'm gonna tell the AI, I'm like, look up everything about Google AI search in the most recent Google I/O, which is where this event is from, in 2026. I heard they're going all in on AI for their search engine. So basically, I gave this AI sort of a prompt, and of course, once I enter it, you can see that the local artificial intelligence is realizing what I'm asking it about. It's trying to identify things. It knows that Google I/O, based on its training data, is set in May, so it's thinking how to do a search online, which is what Google search engine would do. So you can see that, this is sort of like a verbose showcase as to what's going on. And of course, I've also fed SeerXNG into this local AI, meaning that it's going to now execute these searches. So it's done searches, it's actually checked online, it's pulled results. As you can see, you can read what it's pulled. This is what the AI sees. So as it's pulling all of these results, it's now basically taking that information and combining it together to spit out back at me, which is exactly what Google search engine is doing. The only difference is they have a massive set of data centers that's able to do it far quickly than my simple GPU is able to do. But you can see that, locally speaking, I'm able to get those same results, but this is still not good, okay? Basically what Google is doing is fucking ass-fucking the entire internet because basically they're just stifling traffic away just to generate hallucinated AI results. So here it's actually pulled the information out of Google's I/O. You can see that the exact date is here. You can see that all the key information is basically dug out. All of this is brought in. And that's basically what's happening, right? What Google is doing is they're trying to replace the internet search with just you using an AI chatbot to answer questions that you would have normally just looked up, questions that you would have received better. The problem with all these AI solutions is that, listen, at the end of the day, if you have to go and verify everything the AI pulls anyways by going to these websites, because that's what you should do, lest you get a bad result and you just go with that, that's an issue. So basically, Google doing this has basically meant that they're moving on to destroying their own search engine. One of the key features they have. Now, normally, I would sit down and say, I'm gonna, crack open the fucking chair. I'm gonna like sit back, fucking open a beer, watch the fireworks. But this is not the fireworks, okay? Remember, these are the biggest tech companies in the world. Google stifling from other smaller websites and communities out there is ultimately a net negative. Most of internet traffic these days are bots. Google's, push for search engine AI is just going to push more and more bots and less and less actual humans going to parts on the internet. They've kind of already done it even with YouTube videos, right? Like if you look up like a how-to video, it'll sometimes go to a YouTube video, look at its transcript, pull out all the information and just give it to the user, basically stifling that YouTuber out of like the view that would have been generated. And sometimes it won't even give the proper information that the YouTuber is even giving out because the fucking model is hallucinating like a bastard. Like what the fuck are we doing, man? So here they've got things like agentic coding in search. We're bringing the power of Google anti-gravity, fucking least used IDE, by the way, and the agentic coding capabilities of Gemini right into search. Search can build the ideal response in the right format for your question, completely on the fly. So you can get custom generative UI, visual tools, and simulations tailored precisely to your needs. Which sounds, I guess, kind of cool. Honestly, the only AI feature that would make fucking sense out of here. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I feel like this is just another avenue for a lot of these companies to raise users. Earlier in this video, we talked about 1 billion people using artificial intelligence, and sometimes it makes me wonder if they're able to report these numbers because they're just basically saying, on a broad sense, everyone that has ever used any form of Google Gemini or any fucking AI tool on their device, which unfortunately, if you have like any Android smartphone, if you have anything Google related, you probably like fucking trip into Gemini at least 2 or 3 times a fucking day, Like not even with your own intention. So I'm wondering if that's kind of factored into it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, Google is out there ass fucking their search engine to no end. And look, at the end of the day, I've talked a lot about de-Googling, like, hey, if you don't want to use Google Chrome, because we found out literally weeks ago, Google was stuffing fucking AI Gemini models into your system without your consent, by the way, without any of your consent. It's so easy to switch to other browsers, okay? If you want any browser that respects you, hell, you don't even have to use something like Brave browser. Something like Helium browser is so light, and it uses the same underlying Google Chrome engine, so if you're a fan of that, you can use this. There's also fucking Firefox, okay? So if you don't want to use anything Chromium related, you might have issues with Firefox, but it's right here. And if you don't want to use Firefox, because it's open source, you can use WaterFox, which is a much more privacy-focused version out there. When it comes to search engines, I'm not even joking, ladies and gentlemen. To utilize something like Seer XNG is not that difficult at all. If you can install Docker, which there are plenty of guides, and I've even shown you numerous times on my channel underneath Windows, Mac, and Linux, you can install Docker with ease. There's GUI interfaces for Docker now, so you don't even have to fuck with the terminal all that much. So when it comes to things like Seer XNG, you can basically set up a little like Seer XNG endpoint. You can have it running permanently. You can even have it set so that it auto starts as your computer fires up. So you never have to even think of managing this, right? It's just there, right? Like all you have to do is go to localhost 8888 and you can even connect to this with your local smartphone. So as long as your port is exposed, Your devices are connected to the same Wi-Fi or internet service or internet like your local internet. You can just enter your computer or like Docker location's IP, the port number. You can access fucking CRX and G even on your phone. And then, of course, when it comes to operating systems, look, for a long time, we used to use things like Microsoft Windows because it was the best alternative. But now, if you want to cut that cord even, you can go to things like CachyOS. You can install this if you're a gamer-centric person. So you have the up-to-date, most advanced feature set and the most simple way to get the most gaming-centric operating system working without ever having to worry about, is it phoning home? Is it going to be loaded with AI slop? Is it owned basically by a Silicon Valley company out there in California? No, you don't have to worry about that shit. Even if you don't want to use a gamer-oriented fucking operating system, using something like Fedora Linux is honestly far greater. Like, it's as simple as going to their page, downloading their version, and calling it a day. But Google, where Google is at, man, it is like, I don't understand the direction this company is fucking going, man. Like, your search engine should be simple to use. It should be giving people direct results. When I am pulling better search results from locally hosted meta search engines, we have a problem, okay? I think people, I don't know if these companies will get it, but we're tired of like putting in -AI for our Google searches. We're tired of even seeing the overview. We're tired of the constant hallucinations. And most importantly, we are tired of the constant sponsorship links that are being thrown at us. Look, years ago, I remember when OBS, like I was trying to install OBS, Google search gave me like a sponsored result from like a hacking group that was trying to spread false versions of OBS for people. I almost literally got hacked because I use Google search, which is primarily one of the reasons why I don't fucking use these big search engines. But hey, Google will do what Google does. And I think for the average person, I can only scream into the heavens so much. So look, at the end of the day, self-host, run alternative options because it's not difficult to do. Oftentimes, the alternative option is just as good, if not fucking better. So there's no reason not to switch anymore, okay? So if you're ever like, man, I need to use Google Chrome, fucking why, okay? Why can't you switch to something like Brave? Or why can't you switch to something like Helium? I need to use this search it. Why? Why do you need to use Google search? Is it like, are you punishing yourself? There's better ways. There's better ways to hurt yourself, son. I'm not going to teach you anything per the terms of service. But if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.